Okay, am I live? Yes, I am live. Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's AM Language YouTube channel. YouTube lesson here on the AM Language YouTube channel. Make sure you like and share the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. My name's Richie, and in today's lesson, we are going to look at the future in the past. What does that mean? So that's what we're going to look at in today's lesson. It's Tuesday, and it's a pretty nice day, actually. It's nice when the weather's good. If you are in Malta, you are now entering the summer period, so you're going to have lots and lots of nice weather. Actually, where would I recommend, while we wait for people to join us, where would I suggest going? Well, I would suggest, if you can, guys, try and see if you can get yourself to Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay is in the north part of the island. It's on your way to places like Mileja, the Gozo Ferry, Golden Sands. It's in that direction. It's actually next to Popeye Village. I would suggest, if you can, try and get yourself to Anchor Bay. It's a lovely bay, very clean, and it's now the time to start swimming. So if you're in Malta and you haven't started to swim, what are you doing? Get yourself to the beach and go swimming. It will be cold, but no time to waste. Make the most of it. That's what I would say. Irina F says hello. Good afternoon, Irina F. Privyet. Welcome to today's lesson. Leondina, hello. Good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. I hope you're doing well. As for today, we are going to look at the future in the past. Now, we will have a look at this unique sort of grammar structure with its meaning. In reality, it's not that difficult. But how to make sure that we use it properly, we need to make sure we can. Now, some of you will be learning this week in some of your lessons. So hopefully it's a chance for you to use it in today's lesson. Alida, good afternoon. Buenos dias. Welcome to today's lesson. I hope you're doing well in Argentina. Future in the past. I mean, here it's quite good just to talk about, effectively the subject is, you got two things really. What were you doing? What was happening? And what were you going to do? What were you planning? What were you planning? What were you planning on doing? And there's a few, actually. I mean, those four questions are good questions to start us off. What were you doing? What was happening? What were you going to do? What were you planning on doing? What did you want to do? Okay, so future in the past. To make sure we get this right, we're just going to work our way through these questions, and we can see how we transition from the past to talking about a future past. And there's some questions that we need to think about. So let's say, okay, we're talking about plans. The question is, let's say we're talking about, let's say last night. Okay, we're talking about last night. So last night, We went out. That's the idea. Okay. Last night we went out. So let's look at the first question. So, what were you doing? So, the answer to the first one would be, if it's what were you doing, we would say, oh, we were, what were we doing? We were playing football with some friends, and then we went to John's house and watched the game. Okay, so that would be your response for the first one. And what you guys can see here, this is a combination of the past continuous, continuous plus the past simple. Okay, right. I've done the first one for you. Now look at the next one. What was happening? What was happening? Okay, so you're talking about this conversation, and someone might ask you, so what was happening? Okay, so you then might say, John was telling Katie, was telling Anne that he couldn't join, they couldn't go round to her place. Okay. Can you guys tell me, if we say John was telling Anne that he couldn't go round to her place, what is the structure? Okay. What is the structure? Come into the live chat and tell me, what is the structure? We've got, we were playing football with some friends, and then we went to John's house and watched the game. That's past continuous plus past simple. So to answer the second question, what was happening? We've got John was telling Anne that he couldn't go round to her place. So the question is, what is the structure? Okay. What is the structure, and are we still talking about an actual past? That's the second question. So what's the structure, and are we talking about an actual past? Okay. Now, an actual past is something that happened. It's not a hypothetical past or an alternative one. Okay. So, what is the structure, and are we still talking about an actual past? Now, in this, I'm going to give you guys 30 more seconds, and then I'll tell you what the answer is. And then we can get on to the conversation side of things. Well, should I say, then we can get into the conversation, actually. So, 10 more seconds, and then I'll let you guys know what the answer is. I'll put my phone on silent, actually. We don't want to be disturbed. Okay, so the structure here, again, you've got past continuous plus the past simple. And we're talking about an actual past. So this past happened. Now look at the next thing. What were you going to do? Okay, what were you going to do? If we ask this question, are we asking, well, let me ask you this. If we ask this question, what were you going to do? We are asking A, what we did, B, Francesca, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. So when we ask this question, what were you going to do? Is this question asking what you did? Or is this question asking what we didn't do, but what we thought of doing? Does this go with meaning A or meaning B? Meaning A or meaning B? Okay, and then we'll eventually get into our more of our conversation. Okay, so Leondina says A. It's talking about what we did. If you agree with Leondina, let me know. If you disagree with Leondina, let me know. So this is it. We've got this question. What were you going to do? Well, does this ask what we did, or does this ask what we didn't do, but what we thought of doing? Okay, all of you going for A. The answer, B. This is not asking you what you did. This question is asking what you didn't do, but what you thought of doing. So this is not A. The meaning of this question is B. It's asking you what you didn't do, but what we thought of doing. Okay. So, which is the correct response? Okay, which is the correct response? So, A. Uh, so, if this is the question, okay, what were you going to do? And the meaning of this question is asking what we didn't do, but what we thought of doing. Which is the correct answer, A or B? We thought of going to the cinema. We went to the cinema. Leondina says A. Okay, come in and tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with Leondina? Okay, A, and the correct answer is A. Okay, so we thought of going to the cinema. Now, in this case, we didn't go to the cinema, but we thought of going to the cinema at the time. See how we are developing our understanding of this. So we're not saying at this point what we did, we're saying what we thought of doing, but we didn't do. Now, because it's all about climbing the ladder here. So now let's look at the next question. Okay, next question. What were you planning on doing? Let's look at this again. A. A or B? A or B at this point, because there's more levels to this. So we'll see how you guys get on. So again, the question is this time, what were you planning on doing? So what you planned to do and did? Is this asking you what you planned to do or did? Or is it asking you what you planned to do but didn't? A leader says B. Do you agree with the leader? Okay, so some of you are saying B, some of you are saying A. What were you planning on doing? What were you, okay, B, A, so B, A, B. Answer, Okay, what you planned to do but didn't. So, which is the correct response? A. Okay, so which is the correct response? So, what were you planning on doing? Well, is the correct answer we planned on going to the beach, but the weather wasn't good enough, or we went to the beach? Which one is the correct one in this case? Good. Okay, yes, the answer is A. Right. So at this point, what we're looking at here is we're talking about the future plan in the past, but a plan that didn't happen. Okay. Now you could see that in order to make this, what are we doing? Okay. Well, you will see that you can make this question, like if we look at this question, for example, to create this question, we're actually going with a W8 question, okay, plus was or were plus, well, actually, it's a past continuous, really, okay. So that's how you make these questions. You're asking it with in this form. Now, at this point, like I said, we're looking at the answer if this was the plan in the past, but it didn't happen. Okay, so we're talking about what we wanted to do, but it just didn't work out. So now let's look at the next one. I should add, with your answers, you don't have to always answer in a past continuous. You can sometimes use a past simple as well. Now, let's look at the next one. Okay. Okay. So the question might be, so what happened? All right. Now look what we're going to do. One. Okay. And number two. But this is my question. So number one, so what happened? So at the time, we were traveling to London because we were going to watch Coldplay. The car broke down and we thought we were going to miss the concert. Luckily, we made it. Two, at the time, we were watching a film before going to our grandmother's house for lunch. The film was good, but it went on for a long time. So, in sentences one and two, which part talks about a future past? Now, in this case, okay, as you will see, we're not talking about something that didn't happen. In this case, we are talking about some things that maybe did happen. We just need to find, okay, what section of this is actually talking about a future past? Can any of you tell me? If you like, you can give me the whole sentence. And then just sort of highlight for me the bit where you can see that here we're talking about a future past. Kind of a strange thing. So Francesca says two. Now, in both cases, there's a future past. In both cases, there is a future past. But can you tell me where it tells you that it's a future past? Okay. Why is it a future past? If you're not sure, you can give me, because in each sentence, there's two sentences. So if you like, you can just tell me sentence one or sentence two. So if you're not too sure, you can just tell me, for instance, one, for example, or 1, 2. Okay. If it's 1, 1, it means one, sentence one, or what's one, sentence two, for example. So Alida said, we were going to watch Coldplay. We were going to miss the concert. Excellent. And that's what I want to pick up on. Good, Leslie and Dina. And, well done, Francesca. Okay, good. You're all right. So for number one, okay, number one, good. You all got what I was talking about here. So the answers to number one, yes, you both got that correct. We were going to watch Coldplay. We were going to miss the concert. Nice. Okay, and for the second one, yes, Francesca, and yes, Alida. So answer for number two, yes, you are looking at before going to our grandmother's for lunch. Excellent. Okay. Yes. So here you can see there's going to be two things I want to highlight. Okay. First of all, the time maker at future. Okay. So to make a future past, you've got some things you need to think about. Your time marker, your main time marker, that's going to be important, is at the time at the time. That's your time marker. Okay, you're talking about the time in the past. First thing that you're going to do, at the time, we were going to watch. At the time, we were traveling to London because we were going to watch Coldplay. So how do we do this? We, or well, pronoun basically. This is the important bit here. Pronoun plus was or were plus going to. And that's what you need, okay? To make a future past, you need your time maker. At the time, we were going to, okay? That is your main structure to make a future past. Second, if you want to make a slightly different one, you can then use before going to our grandmother's house. So you're going to go with before plus going to. So these are your the main construction is You're either using a past, you could be using a past continuous format or past simple format, but you need to use going to in some sort of way. So to put it together, just whole one sentence full of future past, we could say, at the time we were going to um, Paris before going on to Rome, for example. You can, in this case, we can add on. This is all future past. At the time we were going to Paris before going on to Rome. Really important bit of language and very helpful. So let's see how you guys do with next activity. Your turn. Tell me about a future past. Okay? Tell me about a future past. Such as particular moment when traveling. Okay? Now I'm going to give you an example and then you guys can give me an example. I'll write my example as well. So my example can be ooh, I went to let's go with Bolivia actually. Come on, there we go. It can be something as simple as this. When I was in Bolivia, oh no, I forgot an important part. Okay, so you can always introduce it with the past simple. So when I was in Bolivia, um, so when I was in Bolivia, I wanted to have pizza. At the time, as I was in the salt flats, oh, come on, Richard, there's something wrong there. At the time, there we go. So this is now how to do it. So when I was in Bolivia, I wanted to have pizza. At the time, I was in salt flats and in the salt flats. Come on. Sometimes I really do make too many mistakes. In the salt flats. So when I was in Bolivia, I wanted to have pizza. At the time, I was in the salt flats and we were going to try and find a hotel famous for its pizza. Here you can see we've got this past future. We were going to try. Your turn. Can you tell me about a past travel experience with a future past? Let's see what you come out with. I know that today is more of a grammar lesson. We haven't done an actual grammar lesson in a while. I know last year we did a lot of grammar lessons, and recently we just did a few more topics. But today, for this one, we decided just to concentrate on the grammar element. So when I was in Bolivia, I wanted to have a pizza. There we're stating it's just past, really, past. And at the time, so I've got my time marker, I was in the salt flats. And we were going to try and find a hotel. So there is your future past. We were going to try and find a hotel famous for its pizza. Yes, Francesca, that's exactly it. That is the bit where we talk about a future past. So over to you guys now. Can you tell me about a future past? You might ask, when would this be important though, Richie? When is this going to be important? Well, it's going to be important when you're telling a story, when you're talking about your past experience from, or what happened yesterday, what happened last night, why something didn't uh, go according to plan. Knowing how to make a future past is quite important. There are a lot of occasions when we need to do it. There's a lot of occasions in the workplace. For instance, the question could be, why didn't you do it, for example? And you might have to reply saying, well, I was going to do it, but XYZ happened. So I was going to do it, meaning yes, that was going to happen in the past. It was a future, but. So there's lots of examples of why this sort of structure is important. At the time, we were traveling to Europe because we were going to visit my family. There was a pilot strike. Oh, but there was a pilot strike. You just need but after family. We thought we were going to miss the flight, but fortunately, the problem was solved. Excellent. With the exception of missing out but after family, we were going to visit my family. There was a pilot strike, but there was a pilot strike. But leader, that's excellent. Well done. Leondina says, when I was in Australia, I wanted to meet across seals. I wanted to meet across seals. I'm not sure about meet across seals. You have to explain to me what that means. At the time, I was traveling to Kangaroo Island and I was going to find a tour guide. But in terms of what we're looking at in today's lesson, Leondina, perfect. At the time, I was traveling to Kangaroo Island and I was going to find. Yes, so that construction is correct. You'll have to explain to me what you meant by meet across seals, unless you wanted to say I wanted to find seals or look at seals. And tour guide, I would say, or I wanted to find a guide or a tour guide. If you're going to use tour comes before guide. As for Kangaroo Island, where have I been? I've been to Fraser Island in Australia. That was cool. Did I go to Kangaroo Island? No, I don't think I did go to Kangaroo Island when I was in Australia. So, yeah. The Indian says, to come near. I was in Australia and wanted to come near seals. If you mean the animal, I wanted to get close to seals, to see seals. That would make a bit more sense. To get up close to seals, that's something you could go with. I wanted to get up close to an animal, meaning, really close. I wanted to get up close to whales. I wanted to get up close to sharks, you name it. Excellent. And that's the future past. That's what we tend to mean when we talk about a future past. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know in terms of how I've never learnt. I've never learnt this as obviously as a second language, so I don't know how difficult this is as a language point. Um, I'm going to introduce you to one last thing, okay? Okay, with the future continuous. And that is would. For example, okay, so Francesca says, when I was holiday in Rome, I was missing flights to go back Malta because they were changing the gate 4 times. Okay, what you need there, Francesca, to make a future past is probably like the word going to bit. For example, so when I was in Rome on holiday in Rome, I'd say here this is how I'd write your sentence, Francesca, to make it a future past. So there, that would be fine, Francesca. See what the difference? I thought I was going to miss. Now, would. Why can we use would to talk about a future past? Well, it's quite simple. If we look at this one, okay, I'm just going to compare it to how we would write the future. Past. So this here is a future past. How we would how would we write this if it was just a future simple? Well, we would say so future past. At the time, we said we would go. If it was just the future, we would say we said we will go. We know we said we will go. Okay. Um, so we can use would to talk about the future. At the time, we thought we would go. Let's look at this one. Number 3, future past. Number 4. Okay, so we're taking away the past time marker and we're replacing would with will. Okay, your turn. Okay, turn these sentences into a future past using would and at the time. Okay, let's see how you guys do. A. Okay, guys, so you got A, B, C. Can you take these sentences and turn them into a future past using would and using at the time? Because that always makes it a little bit easier. Let's see if you guys can do it. Okay, and we're doing for time. Okay, we're doing okay for time. Okay, so yeah, we've got just coming up to under 5 minutes left. So let's see if you guys can complete this nicely. A, B, and C. And then, yeah, that takes us to the end of today's lesson. But yeah, I mean, look, future past, it's good to know. It's important to know. It makes a huge difference with your ability to communicate. Absolutely, definitely there. So I strongly recommend trying to, if you don't currently use the future past, definitely try to use it in your day-to-day language. There's always an opportunity to use it. Anita says, so A, at the time I thought they would lose. B, at the time we agreed we would get the first train. Leondina says, A, at the time we thought we would lose. B, at the time we agreed we would get the first train. And C, at the time she thought we wouldn't get the train. Okay, so thank you very, very much for your answers. Let's see if you're right. Okay. At the time she thought we wouldn't get the train. Okay, so you guys have the same answers as each other. I can tell you that you guys are absolutely correct. So well done, guys. Yeah, and that's the future. That's the future past. That's all it is. So, guys, thank you so much for your participation today. Alida, Leondina, and Francesca, and Arena F. Thank you very much for your participation today in today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. For everyone else watching, I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did find the lesson helpful, make sure you like the video. Leondina says, thanks, Richard. See you tomorrow. You too. See you tomorrow. So, guys, thank you so much. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. A big thank you to everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much, and bye for now. You too, Leondina. You too, Alida. Thank you.